Right, time to put our cam belt on. We've got our cam marks lined up, we've got our crank marks lined up, got my arrow for the belt, I know which way it's going. Always important if you're reusing a belt. Start at the bottom, over the crank pulley, over the cam pulley, over the water pump pulley, and over your tensioner pulley. Now if you let everything go, it'll probably all fall apart on you, but we just let that go. There it goes. The spring is what tensions it. You don't have to get a bar or anything under there. What I like to do now before I tighten everything up is just give it a, you can see if I take the weight off it how the belt gets loose. So just a little bit of weight there, just past our timing marks. Just nip the bolt up because we're going to do a couple of laps. Feels good there and there. So now I'm going to rotate it 2 revolutions on the crankshaft. There's one. Coming up for the second one, we can see our timing marks are starting to line up. There we go, top ones are lined up, bottom ones are lined up. As you can see, nice and flat through there. Very hard to see here, but this tooth is lining up back here. Our belt feels good, there's no loose spots on it. We just get our torque wrench. The book gives us a setting for this bolt. Job done. That's our cam timing done. You can go back and recheck it. You should always recheck it. I'm happy with that. We can now move on to putting the flywheel on. Right, flywheel time. 6 bolts for the flywheel. They're all evenly spaced. Always be careful with your fingers here. I'll start a couple, get them all started by hand. You can see the heads on these are multi-hex. We talked about single hex on our head studs. These are what we call a multi-hex. So multi-hex socket, you can see all the hexes around there, just gives it a better fit. Speed brace. Right, on with our plate that we had, that I made in the beginning. So the flywheel's in a different place. We can turn it now because we know our cam timing's good. Once the flywheel's on, always turn the engine the way it should run, which in this case is this way. These bolts up here. More. And we just put our lock bolt in the top. Now the torque on these, because this is obviously spinning fast and has a lot of weight on it, is 120 Newton meters. Right, so we've set our torque wrench, and there is a correct way of doing it. So we'll call this one number 1, number 2, number 3, 4, 5, 6. Tighten up. We can now take our lock plate off. Always remember when you're finished with your torque wrench to wind it back to 0.